Hey, what's up, y'all? Chris Abbott here, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about how to design a church logo in less than 10 minutes. So I'm going to jump behind my camera, and we're going to show you exactly how to do this. We'll design a couple of different logos, but all of them will be in less than 10 minutes. So the first thing you want to do is go to canva.com. They have a paid version and a free version. Obviously, you can have a few more templates and a few more things that you can do on the paid version. That's what I have here today that we're going to be showing you. All right, so what you want to do is we want to go in here and we're going to type in logo. All right, and now we have all these really cool logo templates that are come up. Now, they've got like thousands of logo templates, right? So that could keep us pretty busy. So here's what we're going to do. Is we're actually just going to dive in, and let's say specifically if we were looking for, like, if the name of the church was Catalyst Church, right, what we could do is we could actually just say C logo, boom, and now we have all of these different C logos that we can look through, right? So pretty cool stuff. Same thing if we were looking, let's say maybe the name of your church is Mountain Church, right? We could just go to Mountain logo. Boom, we have tons of mountain logos, right? So what I did just to show you guys how quick and easy this is, super easy, cruise through here looking for the right template that you're looking for. But once you found it, let me show you how quickly you can do this. Okay, so let's take the name Catalyst Church, and I found kind of a cool C logo here, right? Once you find the logo, all you have to do is click Customize this template, and this is going to pop up here. So here's what I'm going to do. The first thing I'm going to do is we're going to go down here, and we're going to swap out this name. Probably helps if I can spell. All right, there we go, Catalyst, and all we have to do is double click here, Catalyst Church. Now, here's the deal. This already looks really good, right? This is a great looking font here. This is Open Sans, right? Great looking logo mark here. So I'm already digging that. But if we want to add a little bit of color, which I do, all right, I'm going to go in here and all I have to do is click on it. And then up here in the top left, we can pick some colors. So I'm going to go with the red. I like that. That red is a little bit bright for me personally, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go over here and I'm just going to drag this over, and I'm just going to go with a little bit darker. This is just me personally. I kind of like this where it's just a little bit more, not quite like a crimson, but a little bit more of a blood red than that like real bright red. I like that. This over here, I'm actually going to make this is actually like a dark gray. I'm just going to make this just a straight up black. Kind of liking that. And then, man, for church here, let's see. This looks pretty good having both these black here and then having the C kind of red. But I'd like to see what it looks like if we do. So now kind of save my color. It's the same red I picked for the C, right? We do that. Oh, what was that? 2 minutes maybe? And that is a really, really strong logo, I think. I mean, that's a good mark. One of the things I might do personally is I might just take these and make them a little bit bigger or make this a little bit smaller. So here's what I'm going to do. Let's just shrink the C a little bit. Okay, and this is just kind of personal preference here, but I kind of like that. I can drag all of them here, kind of center it, and let's see what that looks like. Okay, boom. I think that's a good looking logo. Obviously, and we just used the default fonts that they already had on there, and we made that really, really quick. Cool thing is Canva automatically saves these for you too, so it's pretty cool. You're not going to lose your work. That's pretty dope. So I really, really dig that personally. All right, let's check out the next template. Okay, so I kind of like this one. This one has kind of a modern flair, right? Probably more of like kind of like a modern or a church plant look to it or something like that. But I really like this A, right? So we're gonna click Customize this template. Okay, here's what it is. Now this A, I'm gonna change out this pink. Personally, not a fan of pink for my church logo, but I think this is a really, really cool mark. So we're gonna change that out here in just a second. But first, I'm gonna go. We're gonna create Atomic Church. All right, I'm gonna go Atomic, and then down here, Church. Boom. Okay. Now this is already looking pretty good. This right here, I think this logo, that needs to be a little bit bigger. Okay, I'm liking that. I don't like, let's move this church. I'm gonna move this down here a little bit. Now this right here, I don't like all the spacing between here, right? So I'm gonna come up here, I'm gonna click on spacing, and I'm actually just going to put it together here. So I personally think that looks better. Okay, so, and then I'm gonna take the word church, we're gonna make that a little bit bigger. I don't mind the spacing on church. I'm going to move it up here, right? That's already looking pretty good. We're going to change the color here. So let's see. Let's go with, see what it looks like in blue. Okay, that's not bad, right? That like kind of blue Atomic Church, that's not bad at all. I'm actually going to move this church up just a little, but you guys can see how quickly you can customize this and how cool it is. You know, what if we tried Okay, I'm liking that a lot better, but that orange is just a little bit flat for me, right? So we want to do something a little bit, let's make it pop a little bit more. So here's what I'm going to do. We're going to go over here into this orange, and then I'm going to go up here and try to make, okay, that orange feels much better to me, right? So I'm kind of digging that. Now, what we might want to do here is, this font's okay, but I wonder if there's something else better out there, right? So here we got all these different fonts that we could choose from. What if we tried like a archival black? Yeah, I'm liking that. I'm liking that quite a bit better. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger though. Okay, and then I would want to change this church maybe to something like a Montserrat, maybe. That's not bad. Okay. So that's a pretty cool church logo that we just created here, and again, just a few minutes. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all of this, kind of centered. Okay, and you know what? I want to make sure it's just a little bit big. Yeah, I don't know what you guys are thinking here, but man, I'm kind of feeling that. It's a pretty cool church logo, again, that we designed in just a couple of minutes. All right, so we're going to keep designing some more logos here. But if you guys are looking specifically to grow your church, we actually have a free gift for you. If you head on over to churchmarketinguniversity.com/free, Ryan and I actually put together our top 10 church growth resources, and so you can actually go over there. You can get that absolutely free. You get all 10 of those resources. Just go to churchmarketinguniversity.com/free. Okay, so man, let's kind of jump into the next logo here, and let me show you something that, again, I think is kind of cool here. Okay, so the next one that we're going to create is Victory Church. Now this one, I typed in a V logo and started looking through, and I saw it already had the word victory in it. So they're making our job pretty easy when they do that for us. Okay, again, all we're gonna do, click customize this template. And honestly, I kind of like this font already, right? We changed the font on the last one, but I'm kind of digging this. So Victory, I'm already feeling that. We're gonna create church. Now, looking at this, I kind of want this church, I want this to have a little bit more spacing between the letters. Okay, in the design word, they call that kern. But letter spacing is what normal people call it. All right, so we're just gonna go to letter spacing, just kind of change it. Okay, I'm starting to dig that right there, right? So that's already a really cool logo in my book. Now, one of the things that we can do here is, just for the heck of it, let's make this kind of like a cool, that's kind of a cool blue. I kind of like that. That's cool too. Let's go with this one. Okay. So, I'm going to change, this Victory. It's not quite black here. So we're going to go with a black, and then with this church, let's see, if we change that text color to the same blue that we have in the V. Okay, that's kind of cool. Now, something that you might see sometimes too is maybe you might leave all of this black, right? Or you might have like the mark black and these colors blue or something like that. You can kind of mess with it, change it a little bit if you want to, but I really like that personally. I think that looks pretty dope. Now, I'll show you how to make something that's kind of cool. So this kind of, this had like kind of a dark version down here. Obviously, we're not using those colors. What you can do is you can take this, if you just click on this little button right here, it's going to duplicate it, right? So now we've got the same page, but here's what I want to do. I'm just going to click on the background. I'm going to change the background to this blue color. And then all I'm going to do is, I know this thing right here, we're actually going to change that to, let's change that to white. All right. And then we've got Victory. And then I know the church down here kind of got lost. We're going to change that to white as well. Now we've just got a little bit of, we've got like some different colors, right? So we could use this logo, which is probably the one you're going to use the most, but you've also got this logo, which is kind of cool. You can kind of play with these colors too, right? You could do the inverse where church and the V are black and the Victory's in white. But then there's one more thing that I really like that you can do here is, so let's take this one. Again, we're just going to duplicate it, and we're going to change the color to black. I always like just having kind of the inverse here, right? So this looks pretty cool. We're going to take, let's do this, that color white, right? So now we just have like kind of an all black and white on a bite, and that looks pretty good, right? It's pretty sharp. You can use that. But if you want to do like some, if we're going to add some of the colors back in, I like here, let's make this V that blue. Okay. And then we'll go back and we'll make the church that same blue color. Well, boom. Okay. So now we've already got like 3 different versions of that really cool logo that we created in just a few minutes, right? So that we can use it in a bunch of different ways. Real quick, something that's kind of cool too is you can also, like if you wanted to create multiple versions, like if we wanted to, let's take this version right here, and we wanted to create kind of like a sideways, like maybe for your website, this logo in the top left of your website is going to be pretty big. So sometimes you're going to use kind of a stack logo like this, but you can also create different variations using Canva. This is what makes it so cool. And you could do like maybe like a horizontal, right? So the first thing I'm going to do, we're going to move that V over. We're going to make this a little bit smaller, right? Then we're going to take Victory and we're going to put that like kind of over here as well. Right, so that's looking kind of cool. Then you could do a couple different things with church, right? So you could put church underneath there, right? You do something like that. You could take church and kind of play with it, put it over here. You might just choose to not use church at all, right? And just have like kind of that victory. Another cool thing that you can do sometimes, depending on the font that you're using, right? What you could do is we could just delete that church altogether. Right, and then what we could do here is we could just add church. All right, we got to make this box a little bit smaller. Okay, there we go. Let's make the font a little bit smaller so it fits. Boom, there's Victory Church. All right. So that looks pretty cool. And then again, and I just left this in the same font. We're just, you could play with this and make this and kind of try this with maybe different fonts. Or if you're doing this, sometimes if you unbold it, right, that creates just a little bit of differentiation enough in there. Or if there is a like a thinner style of that font, right? Especially with certain fonts like Open Sans, there is going to be. With this one, we can't tell too much of a difference right there, right? So what I might do is I'm going to do that, but we're also, let's just change it to blue. Right now we created, I think that looks pretty cool, right? Like, so that is, man, we've got the Stack logo up here that we can use for a lot of stuff, especially like t-shirts and stuff like that. But then a lot of times on the web and stuff, we might want to use something like this. And again, we created the whole thing in less than 10 minutes. Pretty cool. All right, let's go to the next template. All right, here is one that I found. I think, this is kind of just a cool looking. This could probably be a couple different things, but I like in the negative space here. See how you have this N? I kind of dig that. I think that's kind of cool. Right. So if we had something like this, right, we're going to customize this template. All right, and all right, if this one, maybe if it was 2 words, like I live in Tulsa, so let's say North Tulsa. Okay, so if this is North Tulsa, then we're going to change this to church. You guys are probably noticing a pattern here, right? And again, we're just kind of using the templates that they've given us. I'm going to make this bigger because I do want the church to stand out. Now, I like the way this looks, and I like the way this looks up here, right? But church, I like how that's like a thinner font. I think that creates, some cool contrast. But I want to add some spacing to the letters, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to click on church. I'm going to come up here, letter spacing. Right, and right about there. I think that's kind of cool. Okay, I'm digging that. That's a pretty, again, in my book, for my style, that's a pretty dope logo. Would 60 seconds that we created that or something, right? So now it has kind of an off-white background. I personally don't love that. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna turn that into white. Right, so that like white navy blue is kind of cool. You could do something like this where we've been having this one color and basically the mark and church both like the same color. For this one, let's do it. Let's do this. What we could do is we could leave this kind of like this navy blue, and we could go with this one. Maybe we go kind of a gray. That's kind of cool. Right, and so we could leave it like that or whatever, but maybe we put the church, make that also a little bit gray, kind of same color. Okay, that's kind of dope to me, right? Like I kind of like that gray navy blue has almost. I'm a diehard Penn State fan, Penn State football, right? So if we tried something like this. We probably need, and what about, okay, ooh, I'm kind of digging that. This is just the default colors, right? Kind of playing around. That yellow is a little bit hard to read, I think, but kind of like these both, man, wow, both those look pretty good, right? So I'm gonna, I'm actually gonna go right there. Let's try this. Do the same thing, right? So, man, you could do that. Actually, now that I'm looking at this, I probably would go back and put the church in that color. But again, right, so we created, you can play around with the colors as much as you want, but that's a pretty good looking logo in my book, right? So if you ever, and if you made a mistake, you're like, you know what, I want to go back to making that all navy blue or something like that, you can just hit this little back button. My canvas so cool. It's like Photoshop for the rest of us, right? So for everybody that doesn't know Photoshop, boom, we just keep hitting that that back button until we get there. So I like that, and if we wanted to change this, you can also see, like, even that's like not the worst color. Okay, boom. So we played around with it a little bit. We've got a great looking logo. You can mess with the colors. All right, this one is kind of cool. If you're going for more of a badge logo, right? So if we're trying like Mountain Church, a friend of mine has a church called Mountain Church. I just thought that was a really cool name, right? Especially because he's in the mountains. So I typed it in and we found this right here, right? So the word mountain, I'm already digging that. We don't need to change it. Again, making our job easy. So we're just going to change this to church. Now that's not bad, but to me, this mountain is kind of long and then church is kind of short here. So probably what I would do as I take this, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. We don't have a lot of room there, but maybe just a little bit bigger, right? And just kind of see, okay, I'm liking that. Although it's kind of almost touching the tree up a little bit. I think this is pretty good. But man, if we wanted to do something, so like this right here is a Mont Bold. If we wanted to try, so this is Montserrat. If we wanted to try like a Mont Bold there as well, right? That to me is a little bit too much. Looks like it's bolded. Let's try that. Okay, that's not bad. And it makes the church stand out a little bit more, right? We could even maybe try making that a little bit bigger. Don't want to interfere with these trees. Now, the cool thing is, like on this one, because there's two colors in here, when you click on that background, it actually shows you the two colors here. So maybe we like, maybe we want to take this red and maybe we want to make this more of like kind of this cool blue color, kind of digging that. All right. And then maybe we want to take this. Is that a dark gray or black? I'm colorblind, so sometimes the shades of stuff gets a little bit weird. So if we kind of played with it, I'm not really digging that as much. So you know what? Let's do this. Let's just go straight up black, and let's go back to the blue. And this red is just a little bit too dark for me, even though that looks kind of cool. So maybe we'll just go, yeah, something like that. I think looks pretty cool. Right now, the only thing now is we just need to change. So like this church, we're gonna change that to the red that we just chose. There we go. So that looks good. And then mountain, let's see if it looks good in red. It looks okay in red. I like it in black, right? So, okay, there we go. Another good looking logo in a couple of minutes. Play with it. Now I went in, I was kind of digging that mountain logo look, right? I was looking for some other ones. I found this one, and this one has like kind of a cool background, right? Which is just kind of an added bonus. Now you can see, because we're looking at mountain logos, it's showing us down here like a bunch of other mountain logos. So you might see one that you like even better. You could click on that and put that together, but I'm going to go ahead and create this one, right? So I think Cornerstone's a cool name for a church. A buddy of mine has a Cornerstone church, so let's do that. All right, there's Cornerstone Church. All right, and same thing as normal here. We've been doing a lot of these. Because church isn't as big a word, I'll probably make it a little bit bigger. I'm digging that. But then let's also add the spacing. I just think this looks good a lot of times, right? So if you go like that, it's a little bit too much in my book. So maybe something that. Okay, I think that looks pretty cool. And if we highlight all these, bigger here to see maybe. Boom. Okay. Again, I think that's a pretty good logo that we made. And again, in 60 seconds, 2 minutes, right? There's kind of, Cornerstone Church. Might want to put this up a little bit. All right. So, that's a great looking logo. You could even change this out if you wanted to maybe a different, if you want to do, that's like Mont Bold, right? If we want to do Montserrat, just to kind of give it a little bit of contrast there. I think that looks pretty good. Feel free to play with it, but that's what's so cool about Canva, and that's why it's so versatile. And you don't have to be a designer. You can see I'm just kind of drag dropping stuff. And most of these, I'm keeping it the same font, right? Like you can play with the font if you want to, but again, if you're like, oh shoot, man, I don't like that thin font, I want to go back to that other font, right? All you have to do is hit the back button, boom, and now we're back to the other font. Although now I'm looking at those, I do kind of this font, tap that up. Boom. It's a great looking logo. You could add color and everything, but again, on this background, that just looks pretty dope. So it's pretty cool. All right, so let's do one that's maybe a little bit more traditional, maybe like a First Baptist church. Okay, sometimes First Baptist can be tough because what's the best way to do a First Baptist church logo and make it like kind of stand out, right? Same thing with like, First Church or something like that, where you have a lot of the same name, but you need to differentiate yourself. So let's use something like this. I kind of like this. Is kind of like a geometric looking logo, right? That's what I typed in was geometric. You can see some other kind of geometric, kind of abstract shapes pop up. I like these for logos sometimes. I think this is really cool. And this color scheme's kind of dope too. It feels kind of traditional to me, right? Kind of, right, like it kind of instills trust. It's been there for a while. I like that. So let's go customize this one. So here's what we're going to do. Again, we're going to try First Baptist. So, all right. That kind of went down onto a bigger, another line. So I think one of the reasons is because there's too much letter spacing. So let's fix that. Ooh, yeah, okay. I'm already liking that. All right, so First Baptist, and then down here, I would just do, if it was something like this, right? Because you've got First Baptist in like basically every city. I grew up just outside of Damascus. If we did, boom, First Baptist Damascus. Okay, I think that's pretty cool. Might want to make this a little bit bigger because we do want that to kind of stand out. So on that, could bold it. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so I'm going to move this up a little bit and just kind of my taste. Move Damascus up, and that is a pretty good logo right there, my friends. You could kind of mess with the colors here again. Like I kind of like this color scheme that kind of just, Again, just when I look at that, I just think kind of traditional trust. It's been around for a while, right? So that's kind of cool. But we could, if we wanted to, like we could try to make this. Sometimes you could do something like this, but darker. Yeah, that's almost like a maroon, right? So we could change the Damascus to the same thing here. So that's kind of cool too in my book. So you can feel free to play with it, but that's a great looking logo. And if you are part of a denomination or something like that, right? Like if you were a part of a bunch of First Baptists, this is a cool way to kind of brand everything together, but also keep it different, right? So you could take this logo and this could be First Baptist Damascus, but it could be First Baptist Tulsa, and it could be First Baptist Clarksville, right? Like, but still kind of in keeping with that brand, which is kind of cool. And there's a lot of strength in this mark and in this logo, but it's also refreshed, so it feels new, right? So I really like that. Okay, so if we wanted to do a youth logo, this is kind of a cool one. So I went out there and looked for a cool mark that was going to look good, I think, like on a hoodie or a t-shirt for like a youth group. So specifically, I used to be part of a youth group called Asylum, which I always just thought that was a really, really cool name, right? So I went out there looking for an A logo. I think this is a really cool A logo that you may not want for your church because it might just be a little bit too edgy, but it's perfect for youth in my opinion, right? So we're going to come in here and the first thing we're going to do, let's change this to Asylum. All right. And then obviously instead of church, we're going to say youth. Okay. Asylum youth. So I think this needs to be bigger. So we're going to crank that up a little bit. Let's move youth down, but that also needs to be bigger. All right. So now here's the deal. I'm not loving this font that they're giving us here. So let's try something here. Again, they've got tons of fonts. Oops. It looks okay. But I think we need to adjust the spacing. Maybe something like that. That looks pretty cool. Stack up. Okay, digging that. And then youth, we could do the same. I like that. And then let's maybe change this too. Let's go. Okay, how about Nord? Okay, I'm kind of digging that, right? So we could play with that a little bit, but that looks pretty cool. And then to me, this looks like kind of like a snowboard logo or like a surf logo or something like that. So I think this is pretty cool. I don't think you'd have any problem getting teenagers to wear something like this. Again, I would probably change out the pink here. So maybe if we tried that, I kind of like that blood red that we used earlier, too dark. Yeah, so something like that looks really cool. I like that. I like kind of like Asylum Youth. We could also try blue. Yeah, that looks pretty cool, right? But man, so in 10, 15 minutes, you could design a logo for your church and a logo for your youth ministry, and that's pretty dope, right? We're looking pretty good. We could kind of change some different things. We could turn youth blue here if we wanted to, but actually, I don't like that as much, right? That looks good, but I think I actually like it better. Just like that. So the next video that I recommend you watch now that you have a great looking logo is how to grow your church congregation. So we'll link that up down below. And as always, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel so you get a notification every single time we drop a new video. Man, I love you guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you soon.